Yo, Sanjay Uchiha here. People are giving you my review on Samurai Jack Season 5, Episode 2. Wow, I know I'm a week late on this, honestly speaking. It's been a crazy week. Sorry about that. I just thought that since I still have some time before Episode 3 of Season 5 airs tonight, I'd still go ahead and review Episode 2. Of course, I will be reviewing the entire season every week as long as I'm not crazy busy again. Well, if there isn't any problems that come up that kind of take away from my YouTube time. But yeah, let's get into it. Also, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. I do Dragon Ball content, Samurai Jack content now, and Naruto content. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, and let's get into it. So, Season 5, Episode 2. I must say, I am absolutely loving Samurai Jack's fifth and final season. It's just, I mean, granted, it's been only 2 episodes, but all around wherever I look online, whoever I talk to, it's just been getting praise, essentially. Alright, so we continue off last week's episode with Jack continue riding into the foreseeable wilderness, I guess, in the future, still, of course. But the thing is, in this episode, considering that the thing is, in last episode we saw the daughters of Aku finish their training, and now this episode essentially tells the story of Jack his first encounter with the daughters. And the thing that was really cool about this episode is that they tried to make a sort of comparison, because at one point in the episode, well, a lot of points, we see a wolf, and a lone wolf, of course, and it comes across a path and it chooses to go one direction, and it bumps up into I guess a group of, I don't know what to call them, maybe I guess tigers, whatever they are, some wild beast. So it's the lone wolf against the group of wild beasts, and the episode from a storytelling standpoint tries to do the same thing with Jack, him against the seven daughters of Aku, and essentially how Jack and the lone wolf are outmatched. That is the parallel that they're trying to tell there. But even though they're outmatched, they manage to not only, I guess, well, in Jack's case, escape, but with the lone wolf, still obtain victory with crucial injury. That's the definite parallel here. So we see Jack go up against the daughters, and oh man, he is getting his ass whooped. That's the one thing I always loved about Samurai Jack. He never seemed to really have like plot armor. He is definitely vulnerable. And the thing that's always funny is that his clothes tear so easily. Of course, it's still refreshing to see Jack's using new weapons like a machine gun. But as we go along, so Jack's riding, he takes a path, the daughters ambush him. He does suspect that there's someone out there watching him. Of course, he's right, they attack him, and boom, 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 he eventually has to make a run for it. But I thought the first, there are two high points in this episode for me. Apart from the action, which was great, but the first point is after Jack's initial encounter when he actually goes into hiding. And it's here that we continue to see more of Jack's psychological state. So we have Jack, season 5 Jack, and we have him having a discussion with himself, his normal looking self before the beard and the long hair. And essentially, what I guess this would be his inner, what he's kind of feeling inside to a degree, is that old Jack, we'll call him old Jack, the one from previous with the normal look, he was saying that, I'm tired of all this running and fighting, and basically asking Jack how long he can keep this up. Wouldn't it be better if they didn't explicitly say it because they kind of just, something else happened when old Jack was about to say it, but they were definitely alluding to Jack just giving up and taking his own life, because that would be the only honorable thing left to do. Now, the portrayal of Jack's psychological state is definitely a plus. I believe it's one of the believable aspects that's making season 5 a definite watch. Because I mean, 50 years after all of this, all that's happened, I believe anybody in the real world would be partially mad, to say the least. So Jack, even though it feels like it's kind of reflective of Jack saying, "All right, I feel this way," but he still has some amounts of hope left. As he said, things seem difficult at first, but he always finds a way. So he decides to make a run for it. The Dodgers chase him through a temple, and it was kind of cool seeing these scenes as Jack was legitimately, in some scenes you could see like the fear and desperation in his eyes, in his facial expression as he ran from the Daughters. The Daughters, of course, are really skilled, but Jack is actually still able to match them. Of course, not all seven at once. I mean, there was this next scene, of course, where he tries to take them all on. Action in this episode is great as well, but yeah. So we go through the temple, he chases them, but I think the next high point of this episode, and it really has to what I was saying in my last review, I believe, and that Jack does eventually end up killing one of the Daughters, and I don't believe Jack has actually killed any humans before, unless there's some humans he killed during the time skip that we don't know about. But really and truly, we've never seen Jack kill like a human being. Now he's killed one of the Daughters, and based on the preview for this week's episode, we don't get any hints of any remorse. But just the way he looked, it was brief, but he looked at one of the Daughters after he killed her, and realized that it was actually a human. And I don't know, I still think that will play some part in his psychological breakdown. So that was definitely a plus. Of course, I continue to say that the darker tone of the series now, it definitely adds humor to it. And how could I forget the beginning of this episode? Sorry, I forgot to mention Aku. This is one thing I love. The episode does a great job, even though we have a season that's much darker in tone in comparison to the previous seasons. Aku's presence does still spark humor, and that is totally refreshing. Not that the darker tone is bad, but the fact that they could still balance it out. Because one thing that was good about the previous seasons is that the humor was always it was always entertaining, especially, and I think Aku was like one of the biggest sources of entertainment. So to see that they still maintain that aspect of Aku, then that definitely helps to make the episode worthwhile. Also, point to note, Aku's voice actor has changed. The original voice actor died, I believe, in 2006. So, yeah. Personally, I can hear that the new voice actor is trying, and I don't have a problem. From what I heard, the performance was still good. He basically the acting style. He's basically captured the essence of what made the original Aku in terms of performance. I think he still captures that, and for what it's worth, that adds to the episode. All in all, at the end of the episode, after Jack kills one of the Daughters, he uses the sword he got, the blade he got from the bounty hunter last episode, to cause an explosion so he could escape into the nearby river, and that was your episode. All in all, this episode was definitely another solid entry in season 5. A definite watch if you don't. I mean, granted, I didn't watch every single episode from seasons 1 to 4. But if you're old-time track fans, I definitely recommend getting back into it. The series is better than it's ever been before, and it was always good before. So there you have it. Like, rate, comment, subscribe. Expect my Dragon Ball Super review tonight as well. So you'll be getting that tonight, as well as, probably tomorrow morning, maybe the better time to say, for my Samurai Jack review. But let's see. But this is Sanjay Uchiha. Rate, comment, subscribe, share this video out, and I'll see you in the next one. Jack,